Hello everybody, this is Adam, and first of all I want to thank everybody watching this video for caring enough about the Karma Frog 1 channel and my activities for taking the time to watch it. I want to make a video to explain some of the circumstances and challenges facing the channel right now, and it's really more information honestly than I want to share, but I feel like I need to do it in this particular case. I hope that you've had a chance to check out the two new videos that were posted in this past week, the official video for Peace and the new episode of Adam Walks Around. I know that they haven't been as widely watched as some of the previous episodes. A lot of this has to do with some of the factors that I'm about to talk about. But if you haven't checked them out, I invite you to do so. As a lot of you know, the pace of video releases has slowed down quite a bit. I'm quite far behind on the Adam Walks Around series. In fact, nearly the entire season 5 has been filmed, all the way up to almost episode 50, including the follow-up on the Ewasko mystery, which a lot of you have been requesting. That has been filmed. And but the issue is being able to edit that, and also the things I have planned for the other shows. Pet Squares, Expat Curious, I have a lot of things I want to talk about there. I still owe you at least one more music video from last year's fundraiser. That's going to happen as well. The reason video releases have slowed down is I had to make a lot of adjustments that I didn't expect in the last 6 months. You'll see in the current episodes of Adam Walks Around, I'd planned to return to work as a musician about 6 months ago. Omicron put the kibosh on that. Then I got ill, as many of you did, with COVID. Had a wonderful trip back to the US. But then I finally was able to return to the Philippines. As you know, I've been waiting to do that for a couple of years, hopefully to set up shop there and retrieve the possessions that I left there 2.5 years ago before COVID. And unfortunately, the trip to the Philippines was pretty much a disaster, and I did not accomplish I accomplished almost none of those goals, not through any lack of effort on my part, just through some very infuriating circumstances that I won't bore you with. And it also all this set me back several $1,000s and made it really impossible to be productive, because I was dealing with all these issues and I couldn't release videos the way I wanted to. Now, I'm in a more stable place now, I think, and I want to make very clear, this is not your problem. This is my problem. It's my life. We've all got issues with the weird way the world is now. I'm very clear on this, and I am handling all this. I'm cautiously optimistic things are about to turn around, but I'm at a position where I need to use my time to dig myself out of this hole. And I'm reconstituting my studio business. I've gone back to performing. There are a number of ways, other than the YouTube channel, that I can start to hopefully make a living again. And those all look pretty good in the medium term. In the short term, I have a choice. I can let those things grow organically, which I think they will, and continue to put out the videos on a reasonably regular timeline. But frankly, the channel isn't really generating enough to put in the kind of time I would need to do that. I mean, to give you an example, Adam Walks Around, the last episode, took about 3 days to edit. And to get enough people to see it, it requires me to post in various different places. I have to get around a lot of algorithmic barriers that don't want to let me show that stuff to you. And that takes another day or two of my time. So if you think about a good part of 5 days of your life to put up one video. Now granted, I'm not spending 24/7 of those 5 days, but a good hunk of it. And think about how that would compute out for you, for your job and your spare time and things like that. You can see the problem that I'm facing. Now once again, this is not your problem, and the fact that the shows haven't really caught on. In fact, the viewership has declined a good bit. That's also not your fault, because first of all, I know that the content I make, the extra editing time, the extra thought, you know, the large amount of material I gather to make these shows, while it's something I take pride in and a lot of you appreciate, it's not necessarily going to make for a hit YouTube show, because YouTube is basically built around a completely different demographic that doesn't necessarily care about those things. Again, that's not your fault, because if you're watching this, you're one of the people that's been keeping this going, and I really appreciate that. So don't take this in any way as me not being grateful, okay? But as a practical matter, setting aside 5 days of my week to make a video that is going to gather 300 or 400 viewers, and for which I've been generously, I might add, being supported, considering the amount of subscriber base I have. But you know, the channel's generating maybe $250 a month for me, which is not nothing. But if you think about how much of the month that takes up, now that I'm under considerable pressure, that's a problem. I don't want to lose that income, but I also don't want to spend half of my free time generating that $250 in a month. I can't really afford to do it anymore. So I'm going to do a fundraiser for the channel. I know how unpopular these are, because how dare people providing free content by their own choice ask for money. That's kind of where we're at anymore. People don't really think in terms of creative work as being something you should be paid for. That's why I'm going through this trouble to explain the amount of time that this takes and the amount of pressure that I'm under now. Because I do now have other ways I could make money, and they're going to take time and effort to get up and running. It's a question of whether I push and make those happen, or just keep the channel going and keep things rolling, and while that stuff just kind of comes online. And that's honestly what I would prefer to do, because I started something that I at least want to finish. Season 5, you know, like a lot of people waiting for the Bill Ewasko follow-up, and I can't wait to do that. But that alone is going to take a couple of weeks to edit. Plus, there's probably going to be some expense to me in terms of acquiring some documents that I want to make the best possible and most respectful video about what happened to him as I can, because I feel like that's my responsibility. That's kind of where I'm at. I think you get what I'm saying. So I've been thinking a lot about what's the proper ask for this, because we're talking about continuing to make the channel my main focus while I do all these other things kind of around it for the next 3 months or so. And I think what I need to do that and to ensure the long-term viability of the channel is to raise $1,500, which if you think about is $500 per month, and get 15 new patrons on Patreon to ensure that after that I can keep the channel going. The exciting thing about where I'm at now is, assuming everything gets established here, is in the far term, you know, 6 months down the road, once this season is all aired, I will be able to finally do what I wanted to originally do with Adam Walks Around, which is to take it to multiple countries, because I will no longer have to schlep all my stuff all over Asia. Hopefully travel prices and things will have stabilized by then, and it will be, it's very possible that season 6 of Adam Walks Around will be me visiting Japan and visiting Vietnam and visiting Laos and visiting a lot of different places and telling specific stories, not just me walking around, but getting into content that has been the most popular on the channel, which is when I've gone to a place and told a story, whether it's the story of a lost hiker or an old road, or a funny TV show, or my own story of getting out of Los Angeles. Those are the shows that people really want to see, and that's what I will be able to provide, I think, down the road if I'm able to keep everything going. So I'm going to leave the information. I'm going to create a website that will track all of the donations and all of the new patrons. As I start this, I've already gotten $112 towards that $1,500 goal, which I'm very thankful for, people that have already ponied up, and the channel means a lot to them. And I also want to say this is grossly unfair to you, the person that's watching this, because if you are the person watching this, there's a good chance you are either somebody that has already supported the channel, or you just can't afford it. And that's unfortunately the sucky thing about making content that appeals very strongly to a small number of people as opposed to making a cat video or something that a million people are going to watch. It's really unfair that the burden to pay to keep this going goes on such a small number of people. And it was that way for my music career too. And I don't like it, but I don't know any way to do it any other way. And also, again, I don't want you to take this as ungrateful, because I am not. I've actually been thrilled with what the show's done for my life, and I'm thrilled with the comments that you've left for me. I can't tell you how much it just buoys my day when someone gives me an attaboy in the comments. It means a lot to me. But with the amount of time that it's gotten more and more as I've raised my game, I'm taking more and more time to make Adam Walks Around more like a real TV show, higher production values, everything like that. But the more I put into it, I've noticed it's become harder and harder to get past all the algorithms so people actually see it. There's been less and less interest in what I'm doing for whatever reason, and again, not your fault, because it's my job to make content that you want to watch. And also, it's not your fault if you never get shown the link by Facebook or whomever. I mean, it's not your fault. But as the guy that's putting in the time, I guess I need a little signal that this is worth doing, to keep going, to be a little honest. Now, I mean, everyone's had it rough. I've just had a particularly rough couple of months. Things look like they're about to turn around now, but they have not yet, that's not yet a sure thing. And so it's this very dicey moment for me. I have to make sure this transition goes smoothly. I have to make sure that I don't get behind the 8 ball financially. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to leave the links down below. If you want to help keep the channel going, if you can't and you just want to leave a comment, say, hey, thanks, I appreciate that. I get it. Look, I can't. There's a lot of things I'd like to support that I can't, for this very reason. Because I've been trying to get reestablished now for 6 months and stuff keeps getting in the way. But if you can and you want to see the channel kind of come back up to speed and the videos keep coming out every week, every 2 weeks, this is what I need. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean I'm going to completely shut down. You don't all have to close your Patreons. I mean, I will get to this stuff eventually as I have time, but it might take a while because I got to eat. I got to support myself, and that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for your time watching this. I hope this doesn't, again, come off in any ways ungrateful or anything negative. I just thought I needed to be honest about where I'm at, and you guys are great, and I know the good-hearted among you, whether or not this is something you can get behind, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Thank you so much.